Mr. Pitts, let me come to you if I may, please. I want to go back and talk about Judge Reinhardt's work. You clerked for him, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you were there from '08 to '09.
That's correct.
All right. And as I was looking back through your background and Judge Reinhardt's work, I remembered the allegations of him having his pretty shelf, his shelf of pretty clerks, and where he kept photos of only female clerks. And he would say that that shelf was special to him. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with such a shelf.
You never heard any conversation about that?
I did not, no.
You never heard that, okay. So what do you think about that?
That allegation was a surprise to me. I knew that, I remember from the times I'd visited chambers that the judge had a picture of my husband and I behind his desk on the shelf there.
Okay. After Judge Reinhardt died, you issued a statement for the San Francisco Bar Association that called Judge Reinhardt an inspiration and stated that he showed a commitment to justice, fairness, and equality. But then you turned around 2 years later and signed a statement supporting a former law clerk and she was a clerk to Judge Reinhardt, and she claimed the judge sexually harassed her during her clerkship. So I'm having a tough time squaring your two statements. So tell me, which is it? Was he an inspiration, or is he somebody that you would call a sexual predator?
As set forth in the second statement, that noted that many signatories to that statement had not witnessed anything that they would consider abuse of any kind or sexual harassment while they were clerks, and I was one of those clerks. I had never witnessed such conduct from the judge. I did believe that it was important to express support for anyone who comes forth with allegations of sexual harassment.
So you have no problem with the two statements that look as if they're contradicting statements?
I thought that they were both consistent statements with my experience from my law clerkship.
Okay. All right, Mr. Subramaniam, am I saying that properly?
Subramanian.
Subramaniam, I'm
got
close. Okay. All right, an organization that you belong to, Fund for Modern Courts. They published a report recommending that the state of New York enact policy changes to protect individuals from ICE interference and overreach by ICE in New York courthouses. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not familiar with that particular.
You're not familiar with the purpose of the organization?
No, I am familiar with the purpose of the organization.
Okay, and their policy recommendation. Are you familiar with this? This was published before you joined the organization. So you joined an organization that was explicitly advocating to help illegal immigrants evade and circumvent federal immigration authorities. Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of that particular.
You never had any knowledge of this?
Well, as you said, that particular statement had been made.
So
when I
you
was
joined the
not-
organization but didn't read the statement or what they were for?
Well, to be clear, the Fund for Modern Courts mission is to increase transparency in the state courts, increase diversity in the state courts, and to achieve changes in the state court system to make it more available.
One of those changes that they were advocating for was to help illegal immigrants evade. What does that word mean to you?
Well, as I said, I'm not familiar with the statement that you're referring to.
They were going to help them evade ICE and evade the overreach of ICE. So do you endorse this policy? Do you think that it is appropriate for someone who is requesting to sit as a federal judge to support a policy and an organization that says we're going to help you circumvent the law.
Thank you, Senator. That statement, I'm not even sure what the policy is. As you noted, it was not a policy that was enacted during the time that I was affiliated with the organization, and it's
Okay,
not something
this
that's been
organization has activist immigration goals, and you chose to join the organization. Did you join it for that reason?
No, as I said, the primary mission of the fund.
Do you believe that the states and the state courts should interfere with federal immigration law, yes or no?
Well, thank you for the question, Senator. I think that's a question for policymakers.
No,
You
sir,
can-
it is a question for you.
As
It is a direct question for you, sir. Are you advocating that people should be evading federal law because you're requesting to sit on a federal bench?
Absolutely. And as a judge, I would faithfully apply federal law applicable in any case that I handle, even-handedly, to protect and uphold the law and push forward the principle of equal justice under the law.
I'll have more for you on that. Mr. Chairman, I just think it is such an imperative that people that are wanting to sit on the federal court respect the rule of law and the application of the rule of law. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yield back.